Da, da. The formation is flying in. Hi and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where you see that I did off-screen another Minmus landing. I did exactly the same as with the last Minmus landing, just that I didn't take a rover with me. Additionally, I have the gravioli detector with me, which allowed me to do in space, in low orbit. It is actually biome sensitive, so I went into a polar orbit to cover as much biomes as possible of Minmus, and flew around Minmus like 2 or 3 times. I didn't get every biome, but I got a lot of it for 80 signs each. All of the signs is now stored in here. I set up another one of these arrays of stuff, with the new one being a surface deployed science, it is called. It's from the Making History or Breaking Grounds, I think Breaking Grounds DLC. The new one being the ionographer, which will produce 0.7 signs per hour on Minmus. All my pilots and engineers and scientists are new and already leveled up to +2, because I have the option enabled to have them be promoted directly. So once I will now fly back to Kerbin, and once I am in a polar orbit around Kerbin, I will show you how I did this thing with the gravioli detector. For that, we'll already pin the gravioli detector and the experimental storage unit to this. I can't do all of the signs again, because the experimental storage unit will suck all the experimental unit from the crew pod back into the experimental storage unit, which is a waste, because well, it was a waste of my time to get it back up to the crew capsule. I'll see you once I'm in a polar orbit around Kerbin. Okay, so now I'm in a polar orbit around Kerbin and ready to do my experiments. This is now a high altitude polar orbit, as I saw when leaving the moon. That high orbit also, you can also do high orbit, high over biome specific science, so high over Kerbin's mountains, and collect it. Look again, high over Kerbin's highlands, and collect it. These things are from the extra goo and science junior lab thingies that I can't store in it again, because the ones from the experiments are now stored in it, so the one from the crew pod cannot be transferred to it. But I'll have both of them, so don't worry about those. So now we are above water. I think, yep, I did that already. Because water is the most common one, so we're getting rid of it again, because that's only 30 signs. No need to... Oh god, there was a new biome, and it was called Badlands, and I've never seen that. So what you're doing, you're going and fast forward over it until you think you have a biome below you that's not a biome you've scanned already. Or in my case, you look to the biome thingy up here. We are above the shores, where we log the gravity data and collect it. Now we have the data for the shores. Oop! Direct the grasslands. Collect it. Well, you should be closing in on the polar biomes. Tundra, new biome. And collect it. Is the EVA report biome sensitive this high up? No, it isn't. It's not biome sensitive. Southern ice shelf. So that was the southern ice shelf. Next biome should be South Pole, if it is different in any way. Because we had on the North Pole, we had North Pole and ice shelf at different locations. The South Pole doesn't seem to have that. Okay. Next up is water. And we're going faster now because we're leaving South Pole already. That was shores for a very short time. Grasslands again. The ship isn't under acceleration, you asshole. Shores, water. Still water, still water, still water, still water, still water. It was shores again for a short time. Grasslands and highlands. Ice caps. Oh, I missed the ice caps. We have the northern ice shelf now. Collected. Will we get ice cap again before we leave the pole region is the question. No, at this side the mountains below the ice go straight into the water, and there is no ice cap. Shores, highlands, we need midlands and stuff still. Are they called midlands? They might be called lowlands. Shore, grassland, water, shores, highlands, mountains, grasslands. We're nearing the place where we had badlands flicker up for a second during our last turnaround. Still water, still water, still water, still water, still water. We have now one turn around. Still water, still water, still water, shores, grasslands, shores, grasslands, shores, grasslands, islands. Okay, I assume we're done here. We'll do the same thing. Retrograde in a lower orbit. So we need to press both the periapsis and the apoapsis below 250,000, which should be just a short burst to get it to like 200,000. Then go up to the periapsis and do the same thing. Just a short burst until they flip. Good, we're in low orbit now, and we can log the gravity data above the northern ice shelf, collect it, go out with the scientists to see whether we have the EVA report yet. We don't. And that's how we go around this for a while. I'll see you once I'm landed. Wow, look at this. You can see the polar lights from above. That really looks great. Wow. Da, da. The formation is flying in. Okay, another thing that I wanted to show, if you feel like you're too heavy, that you're too fast approaching the surface, you can always jettison your heat shield. Do only ever do that if all of your parachutes are full deployed. Otherwise, it is has a better aerodynamics than most of what you can have. And yeah. And it splashed down. Okay. So we can now go down. And we splash down. So time for another crew report that I did prepare so many experiments that I can't do now because I landed into the water instead of where I wanted to land, but we can do the gravioli. I don't think this will get me anything. Yeah, 0.5 science. Why not? Why not? Yeah, let's do that. EVA report from here is useless. Let's recover the vessel. This should have a ton of science. So the loading took longer than normal. We earned 1,900 science. Because we did so many things from where do they start? The gravity scans from just above the Minmus lowlands, 80, and that per biome. The same thing then later, high-end space over Minmus is 50, high-end space over Kerbal is 30, low space over Kerbal is 20. We got a lot of science. Got a bit of funds back, have 3 new Kerbals that all leveled up. And we now have 2,300 science. So what we definitely wanted to have are the big weirs, so I'm taking them now. And I'll be looking into what else I'm taking off screen. I think the 2.5 meter batteries are a good thing, because I'm mostly not using small parts anymore, so that would actually be a good thing. So I have to eat lunch now. I'll see you after that with all the science that I took. This one was the most useful one with the big wires. Yeah, with the stress tolerance of 900, which is reached really soon if you have a heavy vehicle. Yeah, that was the most important thing. I'll see you with more science decisions after that, and then we'll start to build the rover that will collect all the advanced data from Minmus and the moon. We're getting all these extract ore stuff now, but I'm not doing that. I'll definitely not building 2 scientists orbiting the sun, have a facility supporting at least 5 Kerbals. That's a thing that I can actually do, because that's okay. Let's do that. Enter orbital station around Eve. ISRU resource conversion. No, we won't do that. Okay, so now we'll do that. We'll devise the rover with which we'll scan, do the 100% scan of the moon crater, the large moon crater, which is here, and the Olivine formation. A little thing came to my mind. We have to revisit our beautiful cross flying through the air, which is the Kerbal Space Station. I didn't deliberately make it cross-shaped, but now it's a cross, especially in the night. We've been on our way for a long time, so we actually accumulated already 200 science during our trip to Minmus and back. Which the night is of course not the right moment to send that. Now we are in the light again, now we can send that, transmit those science points. Click it. This will take a while, because this is actually a lot of data. And the antenna we have on this is like, I think it's a tiny antenna. I mean, we have the relay things here. And I think this one has a normal communotron that I did forget about. I think we only have the relay antennas. I have no idea where my antenna is on this. Can you please remember me of an antenna? It must be deployed now. To send it, I mean, we have these. Antenna rating 2G combinable. But is it transmitting data? I have no idea. Where else would we have one? What? Why aren't we in the dark again? Oh! Why is the game not binding the mouse to the screen? I can click outside of the screen. I don't like that. So we got our 207 science, and the 0.7 that we had in here is now 0.8. It's still counting up, everything's fine. Our Kerbal Space Station, look at those panels. They make up more than enough electrical data. So we can go back to a space center and see what science we have produced and what amount of research we can do with it. If the game will do me the favor to load, of course. Okay, 1968 science. So we already got the advanced motors which I wanted. Ion propulsion would be great for probes for unmanned tech. Specialized electrics, the big 2.5 meter batteries will be great. Also, how much does this produce? Puts out 0.8 electric charge per second, but you can use as much as you want from them, and that's like a lot of them. They have a 1% isolation. And oh, okay, we have to cool them. Of course we have to cool them, and I have no idea how much cooling we need to cool them down. We want nuclear propulsion, of course, because of these 800 vacuum stuff, so we'll definitely take that. Very heavy rocketry, that's the real big boys now. And this one also, so the real big rockets would be there. And then we have the big girders. Why do I want a shielded one? After docking, vessels can be just as easily undocked. Huh? Port allows for the firm attachment of two separate bays. The shielded version has deployed fins. No, okay, that's just useless. Okay, a quad coupler and an inflatable airlock. That's for surface outposts, basically. And for people who can't do docking maneuvers correctly on themselves, which I might count myself as one of those. The big docking ports, 2.5 meter docking ports, and the 2.5 meter space station connectors. Also the big airstream protective scale, the big nose cone, big engine plates, several adapters. We take that one because I want the Clampotron's docking port. So now I have already made my decisions. I can't do much more now. So we want ion propulsion for deep space probes. We don't need heavy landing. We might want to fly a space shuttle to Eve, because we can actually fly on Eve pretty well. We also wanted specialized electrics for the 2.5 meter version of this, so we have to take this. Those were the most important ones, most important parts to be able to make proper space stations finally. I mean, the remote guidance unit would be also okay. So we have 500 left. Great, we can also only take one of the small. We could take very heavy rocketry. The real big rockets. Or we take the big containers. But we don't have heavier rocketry. Cheetah, Skiff, Kodiak, Mainsail. They are for the 2.5 meter version. The twin bore, is that already the bigger version? I mean, that's a Kerbodyne. Isn't this Kerbodyne? So, like, the twin bore is the same size as this volume containment. That's the 3.75 meter variant. Yeah, we have the 5 meter decoupler. Oh, there's a decoupler in this, okay. The decoupler is here. Kerbodyne S4, like the real big one. Engine cluster adapter. These are the real big boys. Don't need the inflatable airlocks. I mean, you get the large volume containment as one of the prerequisites for the big ones, so you should be able to take these with us. No problem. There is an adapter, ADTP 223. Will we want like, oh, Mark II clampotrons and service modules for space shuttles? Yeah, we might want Mark III space shuttles at some point. I'll definitely want to do at least one space shuttle now. So this one. So let's plan our rover. Advanced rover. The problem is, first start with the pod. The Rove mate. I'm so glad with this because it has like a ridiculous range to show biomes around you while you're driving around, and that's the only command capsule that has that. We will do an unmanned rover again. So we need to build a big rover because we have one thing that we want to use here that is big. Just to show off the differences. Can you please rotate? This is the small one. This is the medium one. And it's the large one that we will use now. This one. So this will make my rover topple over if it's only this base. So that's why we'll need to make a big rover. And I mean, we could use stuff like this. This is a Rockomax connector. Way too big for whatever we are trying to do here, but the not Rockomax Micronaut, yeah, that's way too small. We want to see to use like these modular girder segments. What's... Okay, that's that size. Yeah, that gives us like a base to work on. Does it snap? It does snap. Wait, the adapters are great. It lets them snap. Okay, so this would be the length. And into the sides the same stuff goes like there and back there. And when we put the wires on, this should already be fairly reasonable. Let's look at the new wires. This has a way higher brake torque. I think this is for big stuff, if you like have moving bases and stuff. But this is like way faster. This is for like a fast vehicle, so we want that. Okay. So our other settings we want to do on the fly. So for Minmus we'll have to put the traction control up to 5, but we'll start for the moon with 3. So we don't just flip around like crazy. So this would be the base. Not high up, so it doesn't topple over fast. Good traction. Far apart, so we don't topple over that way. That's way important. That's the most important stuff we have to think of. And we put one large scanning arm to the front. And I normally like to put it like this because it just looks better. But the default way to put them is like turned around like this. If it allows me to place it somewhere where it makes sense. So like over there, for example. But of course we'll have to fine-tune this. Is this E and Q? No, it must be S and W. No, it must be A and D. So this is the way it looks around. And then we can preview the scanning range, which is not in front of the rover now. But I want like the center of mass to stay in the middle. Yeah, it's somewhere around here. Yeah, of course it flips when I go to the middle. Yeah, that makes it very much easier to see. Oh, God. Okay, it is not. I repeat, it is not doing stuff like I wanted to. Like the center of mass is in the middle if the attachment point is in the middle. Okay, so we'll have to attach it in the middle, for which we'll have to turn it back around to be facing normal. Align the centers of masses with this one. Can I preview the steering range? No, so we will have to look whether this crashes into this. Okay, that's one side. The other side will need the antenna. Antenna is here, of course. We want to send data home from Minmus, which would be, I think this communotron would be enough. I think every communotron is enough here. If, God, it's always so. The antenna rating, it says 500k, which means on its own it has a reach of 500 kilometers. That is, for example, if you want to steer a rover from a ship that's acting not as a relay but just as the remote access point, then it's the 500k. We have the DSNs though, so with the network on, if I have side contact with Kerbal, I have a reach of 31 million meters, so 31,000 kilometers. With this antenna alone, with the level 1 DSN. We have the level 3 DSN, of course, so we have a reach of 354,000 kilometers with the small antenna. So that's way more than enough. But let's maybe take like one of these antennas. No. E and Q. Okay. Extend it. Yeah, that just looks like bullshit. So E and Q again. Put it on the girder back here. And retract it again. Okay, that's enough. Then we want to have to both sides batteries. We now have the very big batteries. These are 2.5 meters. We can't fit them, but the 1 kilometer, the 1.25 meters, I think is the one. That one's fitting perfectly now. So that's the battery. Now we have a battery charge of 2000, which is way more than enough to do everything here. We want solar panels and we want different ones. So we want static ones to be X. I'd like static ones for the front. Oh, that is clipping. This might be a problem because this is a physics object. As is the antenna. Okay, so no static ones, at least not the big ones. So I'll be putting up... Best would be some expandable ones. So if we start, let's turn, no, not that way. This way around, like this. This way around, like this. So if they extend... Oopa! I'm clicking out of the game again because the game does the stupid stuff of not being... Does the stupid thing have physics? I have no idea. Does the hedge have physics? No idea. So... Blah, blah. So do it this way. And the same way back here. How much does this do? Those are 6.4 per second. What do the wheels need? 3.5 per second per wheel, that's 14 per second for the wheels, so we need more just to offset the wheels. This one needs, that's negligible. We just need to see that we come through the night with that. Want extra solar panels? Solar panels! Solar panels! Solar panels, they are not electrical, and with the X thingy. Hey! Sometimes the left click doesn't work. Do you have a problem with that? No. Okay, so we have our 6 of these, which will do 9.6. We need to offset, I said 14. Great. So we need more, better solar panels. It can either clip into each other or leave a gap. Okay, that's nice, of course. Let's zoom in on this. It can clip. Okay. Whoa, wrong button. Wanted to press Alt for that. Can't do it back there. So that's an additional 0.6 because. Not both of them count for this. I don't think I need anything else on this. I mean, I could drive around with like science, but most of the science has a real drop off on science when transmitted. So this is what we can muster now. Let's fill the sides with solar panels. Is this the right way around? Yeah. Wait, we can do a big one there because a big one is better than a number of small ones for whatever reason. Is this attached? Yes, this is attached and this is working fine. Ah. Undo X and put it exactly in the middle. And take it again. And do X again. So like slightly slanted. Yeah, that works. Then more of these ones. And I've learned at the last meter to make them a bit slanted, of course, because the sun is above us and not below us. Okay, so this is a lot of that. Should work fine, I think we'll test it to drive to the baobab tree. That's around the corner. Whoop! That was a weird hiccup. First of all, let's brake and wait until it's until the sun goes up. And the sun has gone up. Electric charge is full. We can untoggle the brakes. We want to have the electric charge in view. So electric charge is constantly going down. Okay. But this is fine. We still are at like... Well, we have a sun exposure of 0.98, but only an energy flow of 0.9. They should have 1.6. These are blocked here, of course, because I'm turned that way now. Okay, this already drives very well. Yeah, and my low center of mass makes me not topple around when I'm steering at 20 meters per second. Great. So I'm meeting you when we're going to the baobab tree because I want to see how much electric charge scanning takes. And the baobab trees were at the beginning of the midlands biome over there. Lowlands biome. I'm sorry. Okay, so now that the sun has gone up fully and we're like not directly driving away from the sun, but at an angle to it, it is enough to load the rover. That's the first thing we learned. The second thing we learned, the scatter position, of course, is not persistent. This is created upon loading the map and is different every time. And also these objects are not persistent. So the scattered terrain objects, they're not persistent. They will also change their positions. They will not if I park a rover next to them and load into the rover, because everything that's in viewing range is fixed. Okay, I think these wires have wires. I'm always saying wires. These wheels have the best brake torque we ever had. Like I had really trouble getting my rover to stop even on Kerbal, and this is not the problem anymore. We have a scan distance of 4 meters now, so double the scan distance of the last one. We have to be far enough away again. No target in range. Do you not count as a baobab tree? Baobab tree. Scan the baobab tree. Oh, I'm overestimating my range so much. This is still loud. So the scan did cost me 100, 200. 300, 340. If our experts are correct, this is one of the oldest tree of the planets, perhaps as old as Professor von Kerman himself. Your scan has collected all the detail possible. Congratulations. So, and we're starting to transmit data at 1900. Oh, okay. Thing has to unfold. Then we're starting at 1960. And it goes down to... That's almost 300, so it's no problem to scan and send data in the dark. That's like 700 in total, so no problem. The data, the science points gotten will not be the same for other things, but the amount of data that has to be sent will be the same. So this is a perfect test for that, because it's determined not by the science value, but by the amounts of data created, and that's experiment specific. So an advanced 100% scan has a certain data amount, and that is persistent. Okay, so off screen between episodes, I'll devise a rocket to put that in onto the moon and onto Minmus. I assume I'll do some stuff like a double lander, so that this is strapped to the top of a lander and has an own lander stage that is operated by an extra probe core that will then fly away and destroy itself somewhere in the ground. So we'll have to also first land our normal mission to put a seismometer on the moon, a seismograph. Okay, have a nice day. See you tomorrow with the rover missions with the advanced rover.